Hi and welcome. Lovely to have so many of you here. I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen this many people at one of our in-person meetups. So thank you for being here. My name's Fiona. I'll be the moderator for tonight. Not the speaker, however. We have two very special speakers here today. We have Barbara here. We have Nick here. Because we get to do a meetup mashup today. We have SEOnerdSwitzerland, one meetup, and we have the UX writing and content design meetup, which is our meetup. And we've decided to do a mashup today, so that's why you're all here. Very quick agenda. It's nothing crazy, but hello. You'll hear from Barbara afterwards. She'll be talking about AI and search, how that is changing the web and changing user behavior. We'll have a very, very quick break just to set up here again. And then we'll hand over to Nick, who will be talking about Beyond AI, leveraging internal expertise for trusted content, who's coming more from the SEO side. Afterwards, Barbara, Nick, and I will be up here. We'll have a panel discussion, and the questions will come from all of you guys. So if you have any questions, I'll show you a slide afterwards where you can hand in your questions basically on Slido. So you have your phone and you can send us your questions, and I can also ask the questions for you if you don't want to have the microphone. And afterwards, there's an apéro. That's it. What else did I want to say? Right, just quick, toilets over there. There's a bar behind you. You are free to have anything, get anything from the fridge that's in the fridge. Please, just if you have like the bottles, put the bottles back, because that means we get the fund back. Yeah, I think that was it on housekeeping. I think I get to hand over to Isaline very quick for a quick who's who from SEOnerdSwitzerland.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. So I'm Isaline. I'm an SEO consultant based in Lausanne, Switzerland, and I mostly work with localization. So I do everything that's about content for the Romandie and content that is created here, and that's not exactly great for Romandie. So that's my job, and I'm from the SEOnerdSwitzerland meetup. So I was really happy to do this together. Oh yeah, thanks. With the team. And so just quick recap, we are officially a non-profit association. And when we created that, we found that there was lots of information out there, but it was hard, especially at the beginning, to understand what was worthy and what was not, like what type of information can I really trust when I find something on the web. So we thought it was a good thing to actually talk together, so we get a chance to talk with other SEOs and have good information. So that was really the beginning of this meetup for us, like sharing information and having the chance to network and discuss things and share, because that's an ever-changing field, so it never ends. Discussions never ends. Also, we're really happy to have sponsors. We are at Leap here. Leap also sponsors us for everything that's about the fees and the stuff we have to pay. And if you have any question about Leap, you know, they always have open positions. But good thing we have a Leaper tonight, Angela, over there. So if you have any question about Leap, interested about having a job there, just go talk to her later. Ask any questions you might have. And also, quick recap. So we are a non-profit association. I started with Sarah on the left at the very beginning. And today we have a new organization team. So we have Corina over there tonight. And Valerie says hi, but she's not here tonight. And we are running these events together. And also, the last thing I wanted to tell you before I pass on the mic is one of the things we also created this event to be safe. I personally find it difficult to be surrounded with people like tonight. Like I kind of lose my words and I'm shaking a little bit. And the thing is, we wanted a place where people are not selling things, where it's, so that's what we're doing here. We don't want people who sell things. It's really just about saying hello, who are you? What's your name? So the only advice, if you are in a similar position like me, shaking, just stand there. I think eventually someone comes and say hello. It usually works if you keep smiling. So, and if you really don't know what to say, just stand a little bit closer, but not too close. And say hello, and usually it's just starts somehow like trust other people, be kind. So like if I can do it, you can do it. So and I really hope you'll have fun tonight. If you have any questions about SEO Nerd Switzerland, if you want to pitch a talk, if you want to whatever, just I'm around. So I'm happy to have your thoughts. Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, just very quickly, if you okay. So oh yeah. There we go. From our side, there's 3 of us. Lara over there, Tam in the back, and my name's Fiona. All 3 of us are linguists, and in some way or another, we're connected with UX writing and content design. We started this meetup right before COVID, which was perfect, but that kind of forced us to go digital. So we have a lot of our meetups are online, and that means we get to have speakers from all over the world as well. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, if you want to know more about us, we have a website. You can check up on our events there, connect with the community. And if you would like to sponsor us, we do take copies. That's also on our website right there. So the same thing that Isaline already mentioned, we're also volunteer run. Would love for a coffee. I think that's already it from my side. Yeah. I already mentioned tonight's speakers. We have Barbara here and we have Nick here. So we've teamed up to kind of discuss this push and pull between, the UX writing side of things, writing for the user, being short and concise, and the SEO side of things, which is, more content is not always better, but usually better than less content. And, to especially kind of shine the light on how AI is changing this dynamic between the push and pull. So what we're essentially going to do tonight is kind of look at the same thing, or look at 2 sides of the same coin, right? So what AI is doing to the web, what it's doing to user behavior, and what we as creators can do to counter that or to work with that. Yeah, first, Barbara will be talking from the UX writing side, and I think I'm just going to hand it over to you, and you can do your introduction all on your own. So here's the clicker, but I need to switch presentation, right? Yes. Go on, yes. There you go, stage is yours. Sorry. Can you see the screen?
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Barbara. I'm a senior experience consultant and UX writer at Release. And I create digital experiences with a focus on customer-centric mindset and a focus on content. My goal is to bring clarity to the user structurally and verbally. Today, I'd like to talk about how AI is changing our search behavior on the internet and how it's transforming content, SEO, and web design. Let's first start with a question to all of you. Who nowadays mainly uses AI to gather information? Please raise your hand. 80, 90%, I would say, mainly use AI to gather information. you're not alone with these changing habits. A study by Nielsen Norman found that 75% of conversations with AI bots are about information seeking. But why do we prefer to use AI instead of web search? It's because AI, telephone. Okay, it's because AI makes finding, evaluating, and summarizing information so easy for us. It delivers consolidated information and in a well-structured way in just one step. It's so easy, it saves us so much time, and we're all becoming lazy. Furthermore, capabilities of AI research are improving, like basically every week. ChatGPT's deep research feature brings information seeking to the next level. It was launched in, I think, February 25, and it delivers complex research within minutes, including sources, without needing to click on any website. Google saw its search engine traffic going down and has responded in May 2025 by introducing these AI overviews you see on all the top levels of the search pages. And just recently, on May 20th, let's say last week, Google communicated a new AI mode that enables shopping without visiting any website. You just ask Google, hey, I want to have a nice, cute travel bag, and Google suggests and asks questions back. Do you want it for rainy weather? The result? Significantly less traffic for websites. Studies show or estimate that websites lose between 20 and 60% of their traffic, of organic traffic. And that has, of course, real-world consequences. Website businesses get fewer inquiries and have less revenues. So what does this mean for us working in content, SEO, and UX design? We aim for content that the AI wants to reference. To do that, we want to create content that stands out. We keep quality high and content original. In a sea of generic AI content, we want to stand out with our content. We try to complement AI content and not copy it. We go deeper, we provide substantial information, fresh perspectives, and up-to-date information. We try to give users a reason to click. Secondly, we demonstrate authority. We use expert voices and cite sources, and we create content that's trustworthy, correct, and relevant. Third, we structure our content. We use headings, bullet points, lists, and we provide short, concise answers to specific questions, because AI loves FAQs. Additionally, we label our content as well technically to simplify interpretation for the SEO and AI, following the schema.org rules. Does anybody know what that is? Yes. Schema.org is a standardized vocabulary for structured data on websites that label different content types. In this example, you see an NZZ article that labels different informations here, like the type of the article, what's the headline, what's the description, the language, further down there's author, publishing date. So different parts of the content are labeled in the code of the website, so that, and these informations can be interpreted by machines. Basically, That's already done since 2011, but the more the content is machine read, the more relevant it is. Alongside content strategies, our SEO strategies change. First, it's recommended to optimize for natural language queries nowadays, because users ask more and more natural language questions. I've noticed this behavior in myself as well, that I start asking questions to Google. A few years ago, people were asking keywords like cold brew coffee ratio, and now they ask questions like, how do I make cold brew coffee at home? Secondly, we shift from generic keywords to high intent phrases that encourage click-through. Instead of optimizing for generic keywords like time tracking, we try to optimize for best time tracking software for freelance consultants, for example, to catch the user in a phase where he is not only researching, but closer to buying, and therefore more likely to click. Of course, quite obvious, these keywords might get lower volume, but are more likely to click than the more generic ones, because these questions can't be answered in only a paragraph of the AI search. Additionally, we adjust our website experiences. We make websites more engaging through rich, personalized experiences. We think infographics, videos, visual explainers, things that AI can't yet replicate. Maybe not far, we are not far away from AI doing that as well. Find here some examples that Release designed in the last 1 or 2 years about infographics and visual explainers. And the second thing I notice in the internet, that more and more websites design for conversation. Users increasingly want to ask questions and not browsing rigid menus. That's why rigid menus and search bars are replaced by chat-like interactions with kind of big search bars on the main stage of the websites. These ones are 2 examples from Switzerland. The upper one is Zentrale Hochschulbibliothek Luzern, I think, and Kanton Basel-Stadt, which were launched this year or last year. Yeah. Yeah, Basel-Stadt or both? Basel-Stadt is a lead, yeah. But the upper one, not right? I think, yeah. So you feel honored that I cited your websites, but they mentioned what I wanted to say, that these conversational UI elements are not just chatbots in the lower left corner. It's a lot more integrated into the website. It goes beyond that chatbot bubble that is nowadays popping up everywhere, and feels more natural and less rigid. Finally, with all the new AI features popping up every 2 weeks, don't forget, produce experiences and content for the user, not the machine. The good news, we all have the experience and the supporting AI tools to create content and experiences that stand out and create value. It's up to us to use AI to our advantage.
Thank you so much, Barbara. I think, where shall I stand? I'll stand here. I'll ask you one last question before we let you go. Afterwards, we were thinking of taking a quick break. Maybe let's do like a 1-minute break, and then afterwards we'll have the second talk, and then we'll have the panel discussion. But before we let you go, in regards to this quote here, produce experiences and content for the user, not the machine. So you've been talking about how us UX writers and content designers, we should also have like this AI and this SEO mindset in our head while we're writing content, right? Do you think that the role as a UX writer is changing in that case? Should we focus more with, you know, like our site on the AI and less on the user, or how do you see that push and pull there? Is it changing, or?
Actually, from my nature, I would always focus on the user. But sometimes there are situations where you might lean a bit more towards the SEO thing or the AI search than I might want to. For example, I just have a client project and try to optimize it for SEO, and the tool said, you don't have enough words. You should have at least 500 words. And I'm thinking about, maybe I should add some extra text, even if I don't like these blown up texts full of keywords. But I would prefer to do it only on specific websites that have especially a SEO target goal. And to say this one is very important for SEO, that's why I'm doing it.
The content, if it doesn't get found, right, then the user's not going to read the
It's
content
not relevant for every
user.
page.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, then thanks again. Thank you for being up here. Let's take 1 minute short break, and then we'll gather back here with Nic. And I forgot. Well, I'll quickly say something to this and then I'll let you. Your presentation is already here. It's as a PDF. I hope that's all right.
Yeah.
Good. Check real quick. Wrong one. All right. And I'll also ask one question after you're done, and then we'll head to the panel discussion.
Perfect.
All right. Need any water?
There is also Meetups and
PDF geht's nicht, gell? I just thought having the slides here would also be very helpful, so that you all right. So I had a script and I didn't follow my script, so I forgot something before. I promised you a QR code, which you can scan on your phone, and you should open a Slido site, and you can just enter in any questions that pop up in your mind during the talk, so that we can, if you forget them and we're during the talk, we still have them, and I'll use those questions during the panel discussion in the end. So please just add in questions there. All right, and with that, I get to hand over the mic to you, Nick, and your presentation.
Perfect. Yeah. So really nice to be here. And yeah, before I start, just want to remove some prejudice against SEO, where everybody's talking about keywords. We heard it a lot before. And I just want to say real SEO, it also starts with the people and not just with keywords. So yeah. And now we can start. I was really glad that you talked a lot about that because it fitted quite well. So shortly about me, my name is Nick. I'm co-founder of Flynn. We're a small agency in Zurich with now eight people. 20 years. I don't look that old, but I'm doing SEO and content marketing since 20 years. So I started in web design, creating websites in WordPress before, so lots of experience. And I'm also on the advisory board of Nic Glauser. It's a startup, or now more a scale up, like doing optimizing performance marketing with AI or with AI. And yeah, that's about me. And now, what will I talk about today? Firstly, the AI content overload, or Barbara already mentioned that a little bit. And then why experts on subject matters are relevant. So why this is really important. And really, we focus on how to collaborate with experts. That's something that's not always easy. And a lot of experts also think, we just need to write some more keywords in there. So we will tell you how we at Flynn work with companies and how we can leverage those experts to write content for us that's a bit more valuable. So let's start with the main topic, or like what everybody's talking about. I mean, AI is producing more and more content. I mean, there are different studies. Some are saying 57%, others are already saying 80%. And then, I mean, Gartner said by 2030, 90% of the content online will be created by AI. Then, what I think, I mean, I know not everybody here will probably agree, but I personally think at the moment, most content I see that's generated with AI, I mean, it really lacks depth, and usually it's like, not really valuable. And I think, and then we have the other topic, that those kind of content will not generate clicks. I mean, those are easy answers. And I mean, that's what already Barbara said, a lot of websites are losing traffic because of the direct answers. And then we come to the topic of EEAT, what Barbara also mentioned. And personally, I think that's really important. And there we've also seen an update last month where Google is saying you cannot fake EEAT. And that's something I think that's really interesting, because I think, I mean, if we talk with ChatGPT or Gemini, I mean, they really try to, in my opinion, try to fake expertise. I mean, they tell you, I know this and I've read it there. And I mean, a lot of times they're right, but not always. So it's just something they're saying, like, you need real experts. And that's really what we talk about today. I mean, so simple, like copycat content, like just having generic content to answer questions. I mean, this does not make sense to produce it. I mean, we can see it here. It's like easy content. I mean, there's no discussion about it. It's just simple information. I mean, why would we need to create this content today? It's just not necessary. But then we see like two fields where it's more valuable. We have like more thought leadership content where it's not really clear what the answer is. So you can have an opinion, and there it's quite valuable to have an expert, because I mean, ChatGPT or AI can also have an opinion, but I mean, it's still an average of everything. And then, okay, we have some transactional content, about specific topics or services from a company. And yeah, I think that's that kind of content you should create. And I mean, if you create it with your experts internally, it will also gain competitive advantage, because not everybody has like the same expertise about your product, about your services. And yeah, I think you should really try to leverage that. So how do we persuade the experts, to work with us? Because in the beginning, I mean, they don't care about SEO. They just say, I don't have time. I mean, we've seen it many times. I mean, now we know a little bit how it works, but before we came in and we said, content, it's really important. And then we said, you're going to write that, you're going to write that. And then we send an email, and I mean, nothing really happens, because experts, they're not motivated naturally. So, I mean, one thing we really try to tell them, I mean, you can have like that much expertise, you can be the best, but like, if nobody knows about it, I mean, who cares? You can be the best expert, you need to be found. And I mean, SEO, it will help you to get found, and then people will read your insights, they want to work with you. And also, like, you're not writing for Google, you're really trying to persuade what you know, and tell the people about that. So that, like, the motivation, we really need to motivate them, and not really focusing on the SEO. And I mean, okay, in a second step, we will talk with them about SEO, how it works. I will later show how we do briefings with them, but like that they have a basic understanding how SEO works. But we really try to focus on like the motivation, because that's what really important. Then, okay, don't be too much technical with them. So, I mean, SEO, we always explain like in 4 stages. There's like technology, architecture, backlinks, and content. And so if we talk to experts, we really try to focus on the content, because that's what they can bring to the table and help us. And so, okay, the experts, usually we ask them, what do you want to talk about? I mean, because the motivation, there should be topics, not that we tell them what to do, but things they really want to talk about. But then we tell them, okay, let's do some research before we can tell you that you can start. And then, we try to find out what's really searched for. And if we can find these topics where experts are willing to write about and what's searched for, then it's really great. So that's what we really try to do with them. And then, it usually works. Here, and then if they start to write, what we really focusing on is a good briefing, so that they really know what they should write about, give them some hints. And I mean, already here, sometimes we fail because people think, I don't need a briefing, and they just start to write, and then we have to clean it up later. But we really focus on like, is there any existing content that they have? Why are we writing this content? I mean, and then keywords, we still put in the keywords, because I think it helps us to see which kind of aspects about the topic are important. So it's not like meant just put in keywords, but if we know what the keywords are, we know what kind of aspects of a topic is important. So we still put that in, also supporting keywords. And then usually we try to write a small abstract, so to give them an idea what they should write about, or like how it should look like. And then also kind of which business unit, which service, or like which product is important for them, so that they know what the goal is, and they can also have call to action. And also some benchmarks, like what are other great articles. So we try to give them that and help them to write that. So how does this workflow go? That's like really our basic workflow. I will now then show you 2 examples, and also give you examples for what kind of topics we do which work. So the basic is really, we have now a list of a lot of topics where experts want to write about, and we also think that they're important. So we create a briefing. Then somebody writes it, and that can be expert, but it can also be like a regular writer, so it always depends. And depending on who's wrote it, there will be a review, we refine it, and then we publish it. So I would say quite a simple process. I would say most of you here who do content, yeah, or hopefully do it quite similarly. And then, yeah, we have two approaches. We have like the approach for where the expert does not have that much time. So yeah, or no, when the expert has lots of time, then he can write the article. So then we really do a amazing briefing, which is really clear, aligned to the topic. So the expert, he really knows, or she really knows what to write about. Then the expert writes, we review it. You can see here that's like usually still in a Word document because experts like to have Word documents, so it's easier to work with them. So we do the comments here, and then they can finalize it and review it if the comments make sense, and then it goes on. So that's one process. And then the second one is where we or another writer creates the article. And then we still write the briefing with the abstract and everything. But after that, the expert really needs to review the briefing. So does the abstract make sense? Do the topic make sense? Does he have any important things that should be added so that the briefing now is really also based on expert input, because then he can already steer in the right direction. When we write it, and then the expert reviews it, will be finalized, and then it goes online. Here you can see that's a tool called Binder. I don't know if some of you have already heard of it. So yeah, that's also a tool to collaborate, not Word documents in this case. So where you can have really like all the statey, and then you can write in here and then create the article like that. So that's also a process that works for us. Good. Now the question is like when to choose which approach. So I've brought you some examples, where we can talk about. I mean, because it always depends on has the expert time, is he available to us? And also how complex the topic is. So maybe we can start on the top right, where the expert has time and the topic is really complicated. Here, I don't know if we can read it, but it's like an article about, I don't know if anybody of you have heard of the non-dom. It's like a new rule in Great Britain. So it's really complicated to understand. And I mean, for this, we first tried also AI because there was like a great presentation about this topic existing. And then we thought, we could use it. We wrote it. And I mean, we were quite pleased. And then we rewrote it ourselves. We were quite pleased. And then, we sent it to the expert. And then he was like, no, this does not make sense. This is completely wrong. And in the end, he rewrote the whole thing because it was, and that's also a topic. I think it was so new, so that also AI, I mean, we gave the presentation he had and stuff, but there was like no new information. So it was, it's really tough. So that was a topic, where we had to rely on experts. And I mean, we have quite a few clients that are like in industries where there are new topics. So there's not like a ton of existing content, which makes it hard for AI. But also, I mean, for us, we cannot easily do a research and find things out. So in this kind of topics, we use the approach one where the expert really has to write the content, because it's just otherwise we will spend too much time researching and also writing the content, and then it will be all wrong. Good. Then, we go to approach 2. I think that's probably also the content you should write to the least, or so it's you don't have a lot of time from the expert, but the topic is also not really complex, so easy topics. So here it's like some running practice, some guide how to go running. So I would say there's a lot of content online, so it's quite easy. So yeah, you can write also other like checklists or tips and tricks. So kind of easy content. I mean, where you still need to try to have like the expert review it and give their insights to improve the article or to give some uniqueness. But it's, yeah, here it also usually does not make sense to use the expert if it's really, really easy. Yeah. And then we have also like the hybrid approaches. So if it's an easier topic, but yeah, the expert has time. So yeah, it's an opportunity to do like interviews. So you can ask them questions. They give you their input, but yeah, then you write it later on, or also for quotes. And then if it's complex and the expert does not have time, then yeah, it's usually quite tough for I mean, here it's an article, I think, about divorces in Switzerland where we wrote, where there is also like some legal aspects where there we really try to write a lot of the things and research it, but still in the end, yeah, we had to do some reviews by the experts, to really improve the article and help them. So yeah, those are the 4 approaches we usually use. But I think if your expert has time and you really, then you should really try to write these kind of topics. So really deep dives, new topics, and also expert perspectives. That's also something, especially like if there's a new law coming, if there's something new coming, if your expert has time to write the perspective on that, I think it's quite valuable, especially if you're fast. I mean, that's what we've seen. If you're one of the first, to write this, you will rank good on Google, probably also on AI. And I mean, and there we're really talking about, it's not just about SEO. I mean, you can also publish it in a magazine or something like that. So that's really something, you should try to do with your experts. So here are some examples. I mean, where we saw that it helps. I mean, we have like here AI overview, what kind of company you should build up. So you see here, that's an article we wrote about. And it worked, and we've seen it also for this client, with other articles. And I mean, obviously here I'm really focusing on Google because I mean, for our clients, or when we think now at the moment today, Google is still like the most valuable traffic driver for your website. And so, we still check a lot of that. And here's something like some change opting out in 2025. So that's an expert perspective, which we've really seen that has created a lot of traffic. And here's another article that was published in March, also about the new topic. So that's really something. What we've seen that creates most buzz is if it's something new and an expert perspective. So what should you take away from this? I mean, probably also a little bit my perspective on this whole topic. So I still think if you have really human expertise in-house, you can still beat AI for really high valuable and new content. And I mean, the other thing is really, I mean, that's why we are here today, like the internal collaboration and to really show what is SEO or what is SEO today or what is geo today. So to really get people to understand what you're doing and get them to help you, because I think that's really valuable. So I'm wondering, when will you start to work with your internal experts? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nic. That was a very, I love the presentation. I think I especially loved how both of you brought in the fact that, human interaction, either behind the scenes or, in terms of humans interacting with the screen, is still the most important thing, even in times of AI. So I have a question for you before we open up the whole discussion to everybody. So has like the rise of AI, has that changed the way that you work, or because or have you always worked the way that you just described right now, or what's changed, or has nothing really changed and that's your key message? Maybe that's.
I mean, let's talk about like working together with experts. I think it didn't change that much. I think now it's, as you've seen in the beginning, I think it's easier to persuade people. Because otherwise, I mean, they said, yeah, just write your easy content, and now you really can say, okay, it does not make sense. We really need your expertise, and I think that changed. But I mean, like doing the briefing and trying to work with experts. We've always done that or tried to do that. So from this perspective, no, I don't think. I mean, I don't know, Lucas. He's so no, okay.
Keep going the way that you're working now. That's a good. I like that takeaway.
Automation is new.
Automation is new, but I think, yeah, for this kind of things, I mean, yes, but I think that's the thing with experts, you really need to talk to them, because if you like do the automation, write the briefing and send it to them, and then they should write. I mean, you probably also know not much happens. So yeah, I think for them, it's really like the personal thing. It's still quite important. But I mean, of course, in the whole process, you can automate some things and make it easier.
Referring to your question, you're not telling everybody everything, because your working style has completely changed. You became a coder. You were not a programmer before.
I was like 20 years ago. Yeah, but I mean, no, I mean, the role of SEO has changed, of course, like how we work for other topics and how we probably also like, let's say we do an interview with a person, it's quite easy. I mean, what kind of question should I ask to have like 20 questions that you can ask an expert and stuff like that? I mean, this has really, improved or gotten easier. That's true.
Great. All right. Well, we already started. I'm going to grab the three of us 3 seats so that we can actually sit down up here. And Barbara, you can come and join us if you like. Please keep on adding in your questions, or if you're uneasy with speaking out loud. Otherwise, I'll just take you. Yeah. No, wait, sorry. We had there we go. This is the one.
I mean, how does that feel? You have gone out of your way, ask the expert, bring some emotions, and you publish this perfect piece of content that kind of performs, right? And the following day, AI is just snorkeling it away and kind of mishmashes it into his gibberish sounding sort of, and bits and pieces of your content ends up there, and bits and pieces, all the content ends up there. It's like, and then, the expert user says, well, that's so. I find it always useful because I usually have no idea on expert topics. I mean, will we be self-feeding the AI over and over again? I mean, the more effort you put in, the smarter AI is going to get, and the more difficult it's going to be the human touch to differentiate. I mean, what's your take on this?
I mean, I probably agree with you, and that's why I think it's really like the new topics. But I mean, otherwise, the next day. And if you're not like the first one, it's going to be tough to do that. But I think if we don't do it, I mean, what should company do? I mean, they could like just stop publishing anything, and then we could stop AI like from getting smarter. But I think the reality is, I mean, we need to have better content, and I mean, also hope that AI will use our content, and then you will also be positioned as expert in AI, and then I mean, you will get clients through that. Because what I see with many clients is they have less and less clicks on the website or like less traffic, but not really less like leads or less sales. So I think you still need to have the amazing content so that you will get referred to on all the AI tools. And even if we talk about like AI mode where people will not visit your content and not anything, but at one point people will decide where will I buy something, from where will I get my service. And at this point you want to have like ideally your expert, or ideally an AI quote from your expert saying this and that, and people will see it, and then let's say I don't know, his AI bot will call his AI bot, and then yeah, they will buy a service or something.
Actually, Lucky Punch is when AI cites your content and refers to the origin, like links back. Then you can feel honored.
Is that the new goal that we're trying to achieve? Have AI cite our content from our?
I think in a way it's a top position on Google.
That's true. It's a new top position now.
I mean, much of the Google success is to sell the top, right? So at some point, some business model will have to evolve for AI. Because at the moment, they're not making money.
I mean, AI overview in the US, they already have ads, so I'm guessing it won't take too long to have AI. So yeah, I think for them, I mean, I'm more wondering what AI mode where it's not that easy, I guess. But I mean, they will just put ads there. I mean, also ChatGPT will put ads most likely, I guess. And then, yeah.
Any other questions from the audience? Yes.
Going for it, you mentioned the second approach for basically the content, right content. How do you reflect that on the article? Do you put the expert as writer, the content writer as writer?
The expert. I mean, yeah, I think that's really key. And I mean, that also makes it sometimes a little bit harder to do that because the expert, he doesn't want to be on any article. I mean, then he's really like, my name is under the article. It really should be like that. I mean, not every expert is like that, but some experts, they're really, yeah. That's probably also the example I talked about because he was like, oh, my name is there. So it needs to be perfect. Yeah. But I think that's important.
Now, how do you handle, interactions with experts who are very into details and correctness, but on some levels, it's not yet relevant because it's just overwhelming for the readers because they're not yet there. So how do you have those discussions?
I mean, okay, the first thing is really like when we work with experts, we usually do like kind of a workshop with them to really try to explain it to them. But then it's sometimes, yeah, we let them to go deep because I think when we talk about like the content, should it be deep, or I said it should be like really detailed. I don't think it's too bad long term that it's too detailed or too much information. I mean, then we probably try to like that it's written well. I would say that's it. I mean, you can go really deep in details, but it still can be like a really, like, let's say, nice article to read also for a non-expert. I mean, yeah, so we try to do it more like in styling the article, but not changing the content too much, I would say.
Yeah, I have the impression that, or the experience that sometimes the experts are a bit more, lean a bit too much towards complicated language, and skilled writer or UX writer tries to simplify it a bit, and the stubborn expert refuses to simplify. That's a bit my experience.
I have a follow-up question on that. So when you have an expert write an article, is it possible to write an article that is readable for non-experts and experts, or would you recommend two different ones?
That's really that's tough because I would say usually we try to do it for non-experts, but we also work like for like some kind of industries where like even or in B2, we also do a lot of B2B stuff, and in B2B stuff, I mean also like some buyers are really experts. So I would say it depends on the industry, but I would say usually we don't do two articles. So either we decide it's a topic that we needs to be in detail and expert, or it's more for less experienced, less savvy users or readers.
It follows on this. It's already on your list because you showed us the briefing form, and it nowhere see any insights to the reader. How you make sure the language is, as you mentioned, is done like to be focused on the real public audience or the real target audience. And I think it's a question to both of you because it's something on the process, and I understand you need to focus on the user, but who is the user and where do I get the insights from?
Could you just make sure to repeat the question so that people online also hear?
Oh, goodness.
You can use AI to summarize.
All right, so your question is
How to make sure it is focused on the user and how do we define the user and how to make sure to an expert or any writer to know how to write and what to write.
how do you focus on the user? Sorry, I have to repeat again. Make sure you're actually, how do you define who your user is and how do you make sure you're actually addressing that user specifically? Very short.
Depends on the client, but usually it's not in the briefing, so it's more in an overall strategy or like for some, like let's say if there's like more of a magazine or more of a content hub, there are usually also like guiding right lines and stuff like this, which is like for every article or for every content piece. I don't know, you probably also like brand language or stuff.
Yeah, usually you have a brand language and then you have a like target group of the article you want to write for. Is it a retail banking client or is it a very wealthy banking client? That's a different audience. So I envision myself usually a persona that's behind the audience and try to focus the content or target the content to this person.
It's probably also where maybe user tests can come in handy. I don't know.
Actually, it would be as well a possibility to test the user with real, the content with real users.
This is actually one of the questions that popped up here. Is user testing still like relevant in terms of like now that we're writing more in terms of top search or maybe less informative and more like conversational elements? Does it still make sense to do user testing, or is that a background thing that we do now in terms of content?
I wouldn't necessarily do a user testing if I write an article that's primary focus is SEO or rank high in Google, but I would still do user testing for like journeys that contain content. It's a completely different content, but with a different target. The other target is, does the user understand flow and know how to click through? And the other one is, does he read through and find the other article?
Do you ever test with users or
I would say not testing. I mean, the thing would be more like to talk to your customer before you write the content. So, I mean, of course, you can always like use tools, but it can also make sense like to talk to 5 possible customers or existing customers, to find more about them. I think that makes sense for content, but it's not that easy. To have the opportunity to talk to clients from your client as an agency. So that's not always easy, but sometimes it works.
Technically, in theory, it would be the best thing. Are there any questions?
So we talked about we will lose a lot of organic traffic. We will have more and more zero-click searches. So what will change that on which KPIs will set the focus in the future? And maybe the second question is how will be the value to have the brand in a source, for example, on AI overview.
Okay, so the first question, just to repeat, is which KPIs now are the ones that we're going for? What measurements? What do we measure now to measure success? And the second one, we'll have to ask again in a second.
I mean, main KPIs, I think it will not be changing because it was always for us like leads or like some more, let's say conversions or like some real action and not just like a click on a website or reading something. So I guess on this level of KPIs, it will not change, but probably impressions on Google or on AI overview, if you can measure them, or like impressions on ChatGPT will be more valuable or more of a KPI than it's now, because I would say now, if we talk about SEO, like an impression on Google, it's nice, but I mean, it's not that valuable. So I guess that could change, or like, will be more important.
Do you have a different view on like the metrics of what defines success?
I think the classical KPIs like conversions, sales, or whatever, email form filled in or contact form filled in, that will be still the same. And impressions on AI overviews, we can't measure now, for now. Or can we? No.
Not we will have some.
Yeah, I think there will be maybe something, but for now, I don't know how to measure impressions on ChatGPT.
Yeah,
my comfort.
sure.
SEMrush has it.
Sorry?
SEMrush is one of the leading tools that have implemented it.
So there are tools that help you. Sorry, go ahead.
Next question for Barbara. Did you ever experience that the brand language limited your UX writing for SEO purposes?
So
and how did you handle it?
no problem. For our guests at home. So have you ever experienced that like the brand's personality, the brand's language that you define kind of limits you in how you write the way that you present it today? And if so, how do you handle this?
Actually, I never had a case like this. I could imagine a case where the brand language says, we use an easy language, but SEO favors complicated expert terms. Do you have cases like that?
No, I would not remember.
But wouldn't that mean that you wouldn't write for your target audience if your brand language is not aligned with the topic you're writing about? You're probably targeting the wrong crowd.
Then something is maybe wrong.
Yeah. So I have an edge case.
I'll get to you in just a second. I have a question for you, Barbara, because you showed a website that has like a search bar or a chat as your entry point to the website, right? I think this was Leap's website. How does this really improve the content experience? Like, could you elaborate on how that makes the content experience more successful or better?
Actually, I think it makes the content experience good when the search is good. Because there are website or on-site searches that are really bad, really poor. But when you try this TripAdvisor search bar, it was really helpful, even though I think it was not AI powered, but it was a quite well done search, and it was able to answer as well a question, a natural language question, not only keywords.
So it's really our habit of being able to ask our questions the way that we would ask them to people, and integrating that user behavior into the website. Yeah. I think I missed a question here.
So I was wondering, out of my own experience, I used ChatGPT to cover a specific need, like for example, to find a specific retreat. And I landed on this web page through ChatGPT, which I probably would have never found otherwise, because it was quite unattractive, to be honest. The website wasn't very pretty, but it really tackled this specific need. So I was wondering if we are currently in a phase where the niche products have kind of an uplift because they don't have much traffic yet, but since it's kind of a reset, because ChatGPT doesn't consider if you have a lot of traffic already, that niche products are actually might be in bloom at the moment in the space before ChatGPT catches up with what takes us into consideration. I don't know, having an opinion about that, or if this both an experience you had before.
So quick repeat.
Maybe it's covered. I don't know. I'm thinking next.
Do you think they heard it? Or I think the microphone's
the
here, right?
microphone
All right, so in terms of niche products, which or before AI, they kind of didn't get very much search volume because because not many people search for that, I guess. Do you see this AI revolution or this AI new world kind of as a reset for these niche content, these niche websites, these niche products to kind of and can they leverage this this AI revolution? Or
I know there are some studies which show there's quite a high similarity, like let's say from the top 10 rankings from Google to like results from ChatGPT. So like for the first things, I would say yes, but I would say what's different, like, I mean, if we search in Google, we just search 10 results, then if we're not happy, we search something more. And I mean, with ChatGPT, we go like deeper and deeper, and then we add more details and stuff. And I think, I don't know any studies, but I think it would make sense for me that people get like more personalized, more perfect. So you get like deeper into the internet, or however we say it, and find different results. I couldn't imagine that, but I like for studies like where they really like put something in, what are first results. I think there's quite a high similarity from like Google or other search engines to ChatGPT. So I don't know if it was like your first result or
maybe that
it was like from a long,
deeper and more satisfied. And I prompted so much I would never have prompted something people search for. So
maybe have you ever tried planning a trip with ChatGPT? Like, I want to travel to Italy, to south of Italy in this region. Give me some tips. And then ChatGPT starts asking, what do you like? And if you enter all kinds of special things, it might dig out some niche products, even maybe more than you would find on Google.
Mm-hmm. I think it also kind of feeds into what you mentioned in your talk, saying, like we use ChatGPT or AI, especially for information gathering, but what we don't use AI for is for, I don't know, specific products, or I don't know, booking something, like actually taking an action. So that kind of feeds into that, right? So those niche things where it's not just gathering information, but you're really looking into, okay, ChatGPT convinced me that this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do, now I want to book it. That's where then the website comes, or the website content is important. I think I saw a hand somewhere there before. No.
If I may ask a second one,
course.
sorry. I mean, anyone, I give up my space. Small and mid-sized companies, like hairdressers, furniture companies, or whatever, can they have an AI only presence, or do we still need to have websites in order to feed into AI? I mean, why bother? I mean, if I can get straight to the source and be found for my niche.
Actually, I was thinking about what happens when we think we write content for the AI to the extreme, is we do not have any graphic interfaces anymore. It's just a text file that AI can read, and you don't need a website anymore. That's thought to the extreme, but could be a scenario in the future, in my opinion.
I mean, the question is also, what do you define as like website? I mean, right now, ChatGPT uses like a crawler to find their like content. So at the moment, you need something that's like in the internet accessible. And the question is if this is just like a database with all your information, or
And I think for small and medium enterprises like the hairdresser next door, are we not already there with Google Business? Do they really need a website? They have opening hours, book an appointment. It's all on Google Business.
Do you not take away the whole visual aspect? Because like everything, obviously it needs to answer message query, but if you are equally informative and always going back and speaks to me on a different level. Like, I don't know, if I went looking at your I look at the pictures, the people who work there, and this AI can't help.
Yes, that's why I was thinking that people will like to have rich visual experiences as well, because many informations we digest or we get nowadays are these short AI abstracts. So people will start to value great visual experiences as well.
I just have a question about accessibility and inclusion in that scenario. We don't have this. You know, it's like everyone uses ChatGPT, and I'm like, it's not the case. We are still a lot of people that are not that technically savvy, and a lot of services need to design for them as well.
So the question is, what about
accessibility and inclusion?
What about accessibility and inclusion? Like, there's a lot of people out there that maybe don't use ChatGPT or these AIs yet. How are we including them, or how are we working with this?
Actually, I think Google is just including them with the AI search on top of the page. Maybe people have never used ChatGPT, but now they will use this AI search because they use Google. Maybe they don't even like recognize. I can imagine my dad and my mom not knowing what this is, but using it.
Yeah, that's true.
And in the context of just having databases and no websites?
It's basically the database is in this AI search box on the top page of Google in the end. It's this piece of content.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends also on
quite
like,
radical,
yeah, and how many years we're talking about, I guess. I mean, yeah, I mean, now, I mean, there's even talks like there won't be any smartphones, so there won't be really like any visual things further hand. So you just like, or you have your classes and then you talk and then you get your information there and stuff. And I think, but I mean, I think now I really see the topic that it's quite, yeah, it's an abrupt change. I mean, it was probably the same thing like when iPhone or like, I mean, even computers, when we talk about like, I don't know, 30 years ago, now that everybody had like internet and could find stuff. And I think now it's also a bigger change. And the question will be how fast will it be, and yeah, how will it change? But yeah.
So in other words, take it step by step.
Yeah.
And for now, let's stick to the steps that you guys presented before. I think if we have one more question from the audience, and then we'll call it a night and head to the apéro. Yes, please.
How much does schema help to show up in AI?
I think it's useful. I'm not so yeah. My personal opinion of this is like, I think now it's really focused on it, and I think now for the crawler it's really important. What I'm not so sure about is like how important will it be like in 2-3 years, because I would imagine that like crawlers should get smarter and yeah, find out easily or like what kind of content that is. But now structure is really important.
I have the impression that when you see this Google shopping feature where it compares different handbags from different shops together in one overview, then it's very important that Google can, or the AI can flag what is the title, what is the dimension, so that they can put it on a proper grid. And that's where schema.org is, the structured data is quite relevant for.
Yeah. No, because I'm just like, because we also do a lot of ads where we have like a feed where it's really structured, and on the website it's not structured, and Google will find out if the price is not the same. So I think they're already getting a lot smarter, because I mean, when we talk about accessibility or like smaller shops where they're not able to do it, so they just put on the website, it's bad structures and they cannot be seen. So I think Google is putting quite some effort, yeah, to also give them a chance, like not SEO optimized content or not really optimized content, yeah, that they also would get found. And then, I mean, we have a more diverse, results. So, yeah. I mean, that's probably only me because I've always done like the schema, and then 3 years later, it's not that important anymore. And then I changed it, and yeah. So probably, yeah.
So maybe it's losing its
I'm hoping.
less work for us, I guess. Focus
Or
on
more exciting.
more exciting. Focus on the human interactions instead of the the schema structure in the background. I think with that, Isalin, I'll invite you back up here, and then after that, there's just one more thing to do. Find my mouse.
I have the presents. Thank you so much for being here tonight as our speakers.
Yeah. And with that,
And I have presents actually
no.
for the team. So thank you so much for doing this with me. It was fun. So I just wanted to give you thank you so much.
And you, Isalin, thank you so much. And thank all of you for being here. Wouldn't have been, the same. So with that, go clink your glasses, go talk some, and see you on the dance floor.